Time now to address the vexed question of what to watch this weekend when you're not watching or listening to the sports over the weekend. Well, I've got 3 suggestions, film-wise. So does Van Connor. We do this each and every Friday. It's our Freeview film recommendation slot, and Van joins us now absolutely live, I'm delighted to say, with 3 cracking recommendations, 3 very different films, Van. Good morning, matey. How are you doing? How are things?
I can't complain, Mr. Ross. How are you doing? It's been a heck of a week, huh?
It certainly has, and let's get your thoughts then on your first film recommendation, which I'm looking forward to seeing again. I saw this at the cinema, I loved it, but it was a bit of a flop for Arnold Schwarzenegger, was it not? The last action hero movie.
Well, I mean, I'm very jealous that you got to see it at the cinema, because I was 10 when it came out, and I wasn't, allowed for legal reasons. Thank you very, very much, BBFC. So that's like a childhood trauma that I had to overcome, not being able to see the movie that I desperately wanted to see. I had the poster on my wall for years as well. And the worst part is that you sit and think, this is a film that would have kind of been perfect for me as a 10-year-old, given that a 10-year-old boy is the central character of it. So you've got Austin O'Brien, who plays Danny Madigan's a young action movie obsessed kid who finds himself sucked into the cinema screen whilst watching a preview of the sequel to his favorite franchise, an action movie series called Jack Slater, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he finds himself pulled into the screen and forced to use his knowledge of the movie world from the real world, so all the tropes of cinema, to help him save the day and assist Jack Slater in cracking the case and taking on the big bad, played by the brilliant Charles Dance here, when he tries to break out of the movie himself and back into the real world in order to use movie characters as effectively weapons. It's absolutely bonkers. It was originally written by Shane Black, who gave us Lethal Weapon, Long Kiss Goodnight, Iron Man 3, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, things like that. Got rewritten and got a bit watered down. The movie that came out unappreciated, as you say, didn't make a lot of money when it came out. I still think it was very good, though. Were you a fan, Paul?
I was absolutely a fan. I loved one line in it when they, as with all those action films, they say, why are you chasing this person? Because he killed my cousin's uncle's grandfather's dog walker or something. Yeah. That was all the motivation they needed then to go on a rampage. And it's brilliantly shot. This is very futuristic at times, isn't it? Scenes in the police station are very much kind of glimpse of the future. It reminded me a bit of another film I enjoy as a guilty pleasure, which was, I think, from 86, a bit earlier than this one, which was Eddie Murphy's flop, The Golden Child. Which again is a kind of a cute, mad, kind of, it's just, and it's certainly an experimental film. Okay, it wasn't what people expected from Eddie Murphy. Still a good old watch, though.
Very much so. This is also the one where they actually branded this on a space shuttle and shot it into space. The cameos and references in this, though, are insane. I mean, you even get a bizarre cameo, an unconventional cameo from, of all people, Sylvester Stallone as the Terminator in it, which is one of my favourite things ever. You can see this tonight, 11:20 on Film 4. If you've never seen it, it is worth a watch, and it just plays better now in the 21st century than it did in the 20th. But I've got a clip for you, say 11:20 tonight on Film 4. I've got a clip for you. This is a 10-year-old kid telling Arnold Schwarzenegger, look, the bad guys are in there. I saw it in a movie. You don't need to do this cop stuff. I got you covered.
Film 4, what's not to love? It's The Last Action Hero.
The bad guys are in there.
You know something? I think you should be wearing this.
I don't think I've earned it yet.
You don't understand. You just solved the entire case. You just revolutionized the entire history of police training. I mean, all these years at the academy, studying human character, psyche of the terrorist, fingerprint analysis, all the courses that I've taken in surveillance, hostage negotiation, in criminal psychology. I mean, all I had to do is just drive around the neighborhood and point my finger at the house and say, the bad guys ain't there.
You think you're funny, don't you?
I know I am. I'm the famous comedian Arnold Braunschweiger.
Schwarzenegger.
Gesundheit.
See, even that is a great kind of in-joke, isn't it? And it shows how self-deprecating Arnold could be. Coincidentally, it was on this day, Van, in 1983, Arnold Schwarzenegger became a naturalised American citizen, paving the way for his time as governor of California. There we go. Now, my film recommendation, for some people, might be a bit controversial, in that I've gone for the remake, kind of reboot of Hellboy. The first Hellboy, brilliant with Ron Perlman. Guillermo del Toro did the sequel. He wasn't invited to do what's going to be the third film, originally called, I think, Hellboy Rise of the Blood Queen. For those who don't know, Hellboy is an interesting looking character with a great big jaw, one massive hand, a bit like a crab, one massive powerful hand and one less powerful, bright red in colour, sort of the spawn of Satan, but he's been wrested from the control of the Nazis and turned to the powers of good, although he's unconventional, cigar chomping, wisecracking. I really enjoyed this, partly because it's so over the top. I always love Ian McShane in this kind of film because he's allowed to release his inner ham. Mila Jovovich is great as the so-called Blood Queen. You get a not bad stab, the guy from Stranger Things, the sheriff from Stranger Things, playing Hellboy himself, although not a patch on Rob Perlman. And it's also got, I think, interesting direction from the British director, Neil Marshall, who made previously one of my favourite horror films, Dog Soldiers, the kind of low-budget but highly successful werewolf film. He was a member of something called the Splat Pack. I suppose you're aware of this, are you, Van? Which featured people like Robert Rodriguez, Rob Zombie, and even Eli Roth. They were the kind of rebirth of a new type of horror. So it's on this 5-star tonight, 11:10. So if you're watching Last Action Hero, you might want to recall this one, download this one to watch in the future. By no means a masterpiece, but it's not the kind of, I mean, it bombed at the box office big style, but I think that was slightly unfair, and it partly because the word of mouth from the critics was bad, but, you know, what were they expecting? It's Hellboy. It's a comic book adaptation. Did you enjoy this one? Did you even get to see this one, Ben? I'm sure you did.
Well, actually, it's a funny story. When it came to showing the film to critics, they played funny games with us and kept it away from all of the other new release movies that were out that week, and made everyone who want to go in and watch it, go in the day it came out.
Right.
So they did try and keep this.
But you critics aren't fools. You know that there's something smelling of haddock on the other side of that decision, which is you can't kind of spoil the opening weekend with your honest appraisal. What would your appraisal have been? Was it a turkey with a lot of feathers, or do you have a kind of grudging secret regard for it?
I'll go with that turkey with a lot of feathers, but there are things I like about it. Ian McShane at the beginning of this movie has one of my favourite opening lines to any movie ever, which is relating to the fact that they called it The Dark Ages. Yeah. I really like Eddie Marsan as the pig mutant bad guy henchman, who at one point has a fight with Hellboy and I believe beats him to death with a urinal.
I mean, what's not to love right there? I mean, right there you've got...
Yeah, Eddie Marsan's performance in that moment, in that sequence, is worth this movie. Because that guy, who has been in some incredible movies, has done some incredible things with his career, is very clearly having some of the most fun he has ever had. Not something that's going to win him any awards, but my God, he's having a good time as a mutant pigman beating Hellboy to death with a urinal.
We can't promise you that, but we can promise you some fun along the way. It's from 2019. It's Hellboy, the reboot, 11:10 tonight, 5-star. Here's a chunk of the trailer.
Something was summoned from the depths of hell. Something that would end mankind.
And this thing you worried about, did it show up?
Oh, yes. You did.
We face every threat there is, and yet you take me in.
Hello, son.
You made me a goddamn...
Listen up, ladies and gentlemen. Out there's a 5th century sorceress who wants to bring down the curtain on London and the world.
Great. Homework.
Hellboy, on tonight, 5-star, 11:10, and we go to your second recommendation, and this is a cracking coming-of-age comedy, and a lot more besides. I mean, if you've not seen Superbad, folks, you're in for a rare old treat, 10 o'clock tomorrow night. It's now a Freeview channel, Dave, has been for a couple of years. On Dave, 10 o'clock tomorrow, Superbad. Tell us more, Van.
Yes, so this was the first film written and directed by Seth Rogen and his professional partner Evan Goldberg, based on their own experiences growing up. And you can kind of see that when you watch the film, because it's very obvious that, like, Jonah Hill's character in this movie is clearly meant to be young Seth Rogen. I mean, the characters are even named Seth and Evan, so it's not exactly subtle with that. And they are the two best friends, Michael Cera and Jonah Hill, Seth and Evan, who on their last night partying together in high school before they part ways for college, elect to try and boost their popularity by being the kids who get the booze. And this sets them off on, you know, that one wild night odyssey as they try and traverse the city and just go on this madcap adventure just to try and get through this night of the all-important high school parties. Made an instant overnight star of Emma Stone and Jonah Hill in particular. Michael Cera less so, even Christopher Mintz-Plasse less so. But it did give rise to one of the most popular sort of meme characters ever, which is, of course, McLovin. Even I own a T-shirt that is the Hawaii driver's license T-shirt. And funny story, I wore that in a Tesco recently, and she had to be a near 70-year-old woman complimented me on that shirt, which might be one of the most surreal experiences ever when an older lady talks to you about your McLovin shirt. But there you go. You can see this, Dave, as you say, 10 p.m. Saturday night.
If you've seen it, you're going to want to see it again. If you haven't seen it, boy, have you got a treat in store.
Oh, yeah. 10 p.m. Saturday night. Perfect time for it. Beer and pizza movie incarnate. But I think there is a sweetness to this as well at the same time. So I don't think this is a real big sort of, bro movie or anything like that. It's not quite a big chunder movie. There is a heart to it. It's like 10 o'clock Saturday night. You can hear it. And I've got a clip for you. And, well, there really is nothing quite like Superbad. And if you know it, you know which scene I'm going to pick. So I'm just going to let the clip take it away and speak for itself.
It's super good.
Yo, guys. What's up? Fogel, where have you been, man? You almost gave me a goddamn heart attack. Let me see it. You out or what? No, man. I got it. It's flawless. Check it.
Hawaii. All right, that's good. It's hard to trace, I guess. Wait, you changed your name to McLovin? McLovin? What kind of a stupid name is that, Fogel? What, are you trying to be an Irish R&B singer?
Oh, they let you pick any name you want when you get down there.
And you landed on McLovin?
Yeah, I was between that and Muhammad.
Why the would it be between that or Muhammad? Why don't you pick a common name like a normal person?
Muhammad is the most commonly used name on earth.
Fogel, have you ever actually met anyone named Muhammad?
Have you actually ever met anyone named McLovin?
What a great scene that is, and it gets even better, that whole McLovin gag running there. So that's a cracker tonight, tomorrow night rather, on Dave, 10 p.m. I've gone for another great film. How do you follow, I wonder, Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, which was a bit of a game changer for Guy Ritchie and Matthew Vaughn. That was 98. Well, what you do is, you enlist Brad Pitt with an impenetrable, deliberately sort of Irish accent. You get back involved with Vinnie Jones, you get Jason Statham, you get Jason Fleming as well, and you get Stephen Graham, and it's called Snatch. It stars Mike Reid, not the DJ, but the former EastEnders star, now sadly gone before, of course, great comedian in it as well. It involves a hideous gangster, a performance of a lifetime from Alan Fowler's Bricktop, one of the scariest British gangsters of all time. It's an amazing film, Snatch. It's funny, it's fast. I must have seen it half a dozen times. There's always something I spot the next time I see it that I'd not really noticed before. I think it's pretty much a perfect gangster film and a great way to kind of, get yourself set up for a late Saturday night. It's 9 o'clock on Film 4. You've probably seen it, but again, it's one I think that takes repeated viewing. And I think at the time, because people were a bit sniffy about Brad Pitt's involvement, I don't think he quite got the credit. I mean, Lock, Stock was a great fun romp and a game changer. I actually think Snatch is a better film and I prefer it. What do you reckon, Van?
I think Lock, Stock is the more surprising of the two, because you expected to be blown away by Snatch, I think, because of Lock, Stock being this great debut. It's a lot of the Sixth Sense Unbreakable problem, if you're looking for the comparison point there. But I do think that Snatch was the last genuinely good Guy Ritchie movie until The Gentleman 2 years ago. Yeah. I think this is absolutely brilliant. The obvious thing with Snatch was an attempt to take the success of Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels and basically open that up internationally. So bringing in, a more international cast like Benicio del Toro, for instance, and Brad Pitt.
And Dennis Farina, of course, who's fantastic in everything, Dennis Farina.
Dennis Farina, as you say. You point out Bricktop, such a brilliant character. One of those great lines of dialogue being, I don't care if he's Muhammad, I'm hard, Bruce Lee, which is still one of just the great Guy Ritchie lines of dialogue, but also a pretty brilliant turn, I think, and an underappreciated turn for Jason Statham as the lead. And like I say, Jason Statham and Stephen Graham as the sort of double act who form our central characters really do make this film, and they don't get the love that I think they deserve. But a big fan of Snatch.
You can smear some love over them tomorrow night on Film 4, 9 o'clock. Here's a bit of Snatch.
Frankie Fourthings has a diamond the size of a fist.
86 carats.
You know something that I don't?
Jeez, it's flawless.
Where? London. London. You know, fish, chips, cup of tea, Mary Poppins, London.
What do I know about diamonds? I'm a boxing promoter.
I've got a bare knuckle fight. I want to use the pike here.
Fetch your vascular. Concentrate.
What? You're going to have to repeat that.
Fetch your vascular. Concentrate.
What? What's a gun doing in your trousers? Protection. Protection from what? The Germans. I've got the case and give me the stone.
The only man who knew the combination. You just shot.
I'm getting heartburn. Tony, do something terrible.
Where is the stone?
Heavy. Shut up and sit down, you big bald...
Great twists and turns, great dialogue, real kind of rapid editing, so I really enjoyed that film. And I also enjoyed, I've recommended this before, it feels to me like a bank holiday movie, and we have got an unexpected and actually not particularly welcome bank holiday on the way this Monday. So Sunday afternoon into the evening on 5 Action from 1977, one of the great Second World War movies of all time, one of the great ensemble movies of all time. The cast is absolutely stellar. It is, of course, based on the book A Bridge Too Far by Cornelius Ryan, the film version, directed by Sir Richard Attenborough, of course. The cast list is astonishing, and the money's on the screen, and for that reason, I don't think it made a lot of money the first time around, but I think it's one of everybody, if you've seen it, it's one of everybody's favourite Second World War movies, if you like that sort of thing, and I certainly do. Who doesn't rate this film, Val? It's old-fashioned, yes, and its heroics seem to be beyond belief. Some of them are diluted for the film, these soldiers were so brave, and it tells the story of the ill-fated attempt to take the bridges along the Rhine to kind of bring the war to a quick end by Christmas of 1944. In the end, and there's a clue in the title, no spoiler, they try to go a bridge too far, and I think this is probably Dirk Bogart's best performance of his career. He's certainly up there with Death in Venice and The Night Porter and, you know, those, and his films with Joseph Losey, because he's brilliant in this, kind of camp but authoritative, and he's such a great screen actor, Dirk Bogart.
Oh, absolutely. I'd forgotten as well that Maximilian Schell had been in this.
Yeah. And again, it's that film where, I mean, we're going to have a bit of the cast list now. Liv Ullmann's in it as well. It's on 6:30 p.m, 5 Action, Sunday afternoon, A Bridge Too Far.
The plan is called Operation Market Garden. Market is the airborne element, and Garden the ground forces. I like to think of this as one of those American Western films. Germans will naturally, they're the bad guys. We, my friends, are the cavalry. On the way to the rescue.
A Bridge Too Far. Starring Dirk Bogart, James Caan, Michael Caine, Sean Connery, Edward Fox, Elliot Gould, Gene Hackman, Anthony Hopkins, Hardy Kruger, Laurence Olivier, Ryan O'Neal, Robert Redford, Maximilian Schell, Liv Ullmann.
Take cover!
Anthony Hopkins, you got that one there. So what a cast, what a film that is. And you've gone for a very different film, but a great movie as well for Sunday evening. Tell us about Snowpiercer, based, I think, on a graphic novel from France, if memory serves.
Yeah, graphic novel called, I think it's called La Transpergience, I believe, if memory serves. It's been a while since I've not even unpacked those books, actually. I really need to. Really good set of graphic novels, adapted for the screen by Bong Joon-ho, who, of course, you and I remember most prominently from about 3 years ago when we did Oscar night together, for becoming the first director to ever win both the best foreign language film and best picture
with Parasite, of course.
For Parasite, yes. Now, anyone who was a Snowpiercer fan in advance kind of knew that was a very distinct possibility, because Snowpiercer is absolutely incredible. It's Orwell on a train after the climate apocalypse. Boom. There's the concept. That you write that on the back of a crisp packet, you've sold me a movie. You know what I mean? That's just a hell of a concept. It's high concept,
and of course the train has different areas. So there's that third class for your working class, the proles, and there's a middle class bit, and there's where the knobs, as we call them, live. And of course the boss man of the train is the always watchable Ed Harris. I mean, again, what's not to love?
Exactly, and as with A Bridge Too Far, what you've got here as well is an incredible top-tier all-star cast that includes the likes of John Hurt, Tilda Swinton, Chris Evans, Octavia Spencer, as you say, Ed Harris in there as well, Jamie Bell. Just a heck of an all-star roster in here, and it's about this class struggle as the destitute denizens from the back of the train literally fight this civil war.
And you've also got, of course, Tilda Swinton, as you mentioned, but wearing Janet Street Porter's teeth.
Janet Street Porter's teeth, and for some reason Maggie Thatcher's voice. It's the most bizarre performance. I'm here for it. I love it. Alison Pill should get some shout out for this as well, because she's just all sorts of kooky, weird and fun.
Now, we've got to get to the clip very quickly, I'm afraid, Van, because the clock is ticking. So what clip have you chosen from it? And by the way, you can catch Van on the Off-Screen podcast available right after the show this morning. A great guide to all your entertainment and film news. What's the clip for Snowpiercer?
I was just going to say, this is Tilda Swinton in full Thatcher mode doing her disciplinary administrator position, as you're going to hear here.
It's 11:15, it's Sunday evening, it's Snowpiercer. Have a listen.
As in the beginning, I belong to the front. You belong to the tail. When the foot seeks the place of the head, a sacred line is crossed. Know your place. Keep your place. Be ashamed.
I know my place is here for the next 10 minutes or so. Paul Coit's on the way after we hear from the Met Office for the weekend's weather.